Hello guys, this is Blue, and it's been a while since I've actually done a video about Pokemon. And not any video about Pokemon, you might add. It's a video about me battling with Pokemon. What? Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, last weekend I went to my first ever VGC event. And here is, well, one of those series I played that day. I had a lot of fun playing. And I actually ended up doing pretty well. I really liked my team. Went with someone named Marrl. Might have seen her videos. If you haven't, check in the description. I'll link you her channel because she also is uploading her battles. So, with that short intro out of the way, let's just jump right into my first battle here. This was the first round. I was kind of nervous, kind of tired because I had to drive us there. And it was like snowy, so I couldn't even drive fast, so it was a boring drive, needless to say. So my team is Porygon, 2 Crocodile, Tapu Fini, Marowak, and the other two I have in the back are Araquanid and, if I remember, it's Kartana. My opponent, this battle, he brought P2, Marowak, Metagross and Tapu Bulu. So if you don't know VGC, you have a team of 6 Pokemon and you bring 4. So these were the 4 that we brought for the first game, and let's just hop right into this game. So, at least my capture card is still working. So we just hop in, I lead P2 Crocodile, and he leads off with, I think it was P2 Marowak, yes. So right here, if I look at the battle, my Crocodile is in a position to just C-move the Marowak, or to prevent the P2 from setting up Trick Room. I'm not sure what I ended up going for, as the download boosts are happening, because every Porygon has download, and Porygon's like super common. But instead I switched to Tapu Fini, thinking I don't want to take an Ice Beam from the P2, and the Marowak might just, protect. And I was kind of playing on a switch in and the protect at the same time, and he ended up just flare blitzing the Porygon. So yeah. Also, small disclaimer, this was my first game of the day, so I'm gonna be rusty. It's been a while since I actually played competitive on a semi-serious level, so I had a lot of fun. So if you didn't notice, I go for the Muddy Water here, and my Tapu Fini is actually Choice Specs. So that just OHKOs the Marowak very cleanly. I was very happy with seeing that he stayed in, didn't protect or anything. Free kills are very free. I see some slight frame rate issues, but I'll sort that out for the next recordings, don't worry. So the P2 Thunderbolts me, and he brings in Metagross, and Metagross kind of threatens my entire team. So I switch to Marowak, trying to threaten it out, because that's like the only thing that can kill it. But then I see this Muddy Water damage. I mean, look at this Choice Specs damage. Oof. Do remember that the damage is lowered because it's a spread move. So that's actually a lot of damage. He does get the attack boost on the Meteor Mash, and that actually will play a role later into the game. Because here I go for the Muddy Water and actually miss the Metagross, hit the P2, but that miss was very crucial actually, as I can't kill, and he actually goes for the Earthquake on Metagross, and what ends up happening is he gets a double knockout on my Marowak and my Tapu Fini. So at this point I was like, well, this is very bad, obviously. I just lost Marowak. His Metagross is +1 due to Meteor Mashes. But I still have my Porygon and my Crocodile in the back, waiting to go out. But I actually, so besides that Muddy Water missing, I make another mistake here. Well, I guess the Muddy Water miss wasn't a mistake, but I could have protected my Marowak. Anyway, I go for the Z move, but guess who am I targeting with this C move? Yeah, it's not. I'll tell you, it's not Metagross. And the reasoning for this being, I thought I had intimidated the Metagross so I could take a Meteor Mash with Crocodile, so I would just remove P2 off the field and get any potential switch in. But what I forgot was Metagross has Clear Body, so he doesn't have the attack drop. So I just end up losing my Crocodile to a +1 Meteor Mash, which was all very annoying. I was also actually why the Marrl got Earthquaked is because I thought he was banded initially, because most Metagrosses are banded nowadays, but he isn't. So I used this, always use the knowledge you get from games. And yeah, right now he brings in Bulu, and I basically lost the game, but I'm trying to get information from his Pokemon. You know, try to see what he has, what his sets he's running. Use it for game 2, because the VGC isn't a best of 3 series. So while this turn is happening, can I actually talk a bit more about the tournament? So it was in the Netherlands, like in the west part in Leiden. And we had to go there and be there between 8 and 9 AM. And what happened is that the public transport does not bring you there in time from where we were leaving, if that makes any sense. That didn't sound correct at all. So basically, if we want to use public transport, we won't make it in time. So I offered myself to drive. I offered Marlene to drive us there, so I had to drive. But the night before, it was actually near freezing, and it was super slippery on the road, so we couldn't drive faster than 50 kilometers an hour. So what was intended to be a 1-hour drive turned into a 2-hour drive, and we barely made it on time. And okay, so my P2 dies, there we go, and I lose game number 1. If you look at game number 2 team preview right now, you see that I, instead of the Tapu Fini, brought Araquanid, and that is because I wanted to go full Trick Room, and I think he has the same mons. No, he switched up his, what was it again? He switched up something, let me check. He switched up his Marrl for a Tapu Lele. So let's hop right into the second battle, shall we? And I'll use some synchronization super methods. 3, 2, 1, and here it goes. And boom. So I switch up my leads. I think, no, I still go with the same lead, which is Porygon Crocodile, which is a lead I really like with this team, because you get the Intimidate up, you pressure with Crocodile, and you can set up Trick Room with Porygon. So he ends up leading Lele Metagross, and on this turn there's actually something interesting happening, as you can see. My Intimidate goes off before the Tapu Lele's Psychic Surge, which means, if you didn't know, that I'm faster. Which means, because that the Lele is not max speed, because otherwise it would have speed. Which means I can Z-move and just Oko it before it does anything. So I used the Z-move. My opponent was actually surprised that I was faster. But I saw it because of the Intimidate. So I can get a clean KO on the Lele, which is a really threatening Pokemon. My team has, like, I used to have issues against Tapu Lele, but if I outspeed it with Crocodile, I have a solution, and my Kartana is my other answer. So Meteor Mash misses, blech, blech. And I end up setting up Trick Room. So Tapu Bulu comes in, gets rid of that Psychic Terrain for Grass Terrain, and I think, yes, I predict some sort of Grass type attack onto my Crocodile slot, so I just go to Marrl, but instead he protects, which is even better. I mean, I can get a free Ice Beam off, but it does go into the Protect. And the Metagross also Meteor Mash that slot, but it misses. Could happen, but I think Marrl could have taken that easily. So go for the Shadow Bone, mostly because I don't want to get recoil, and I was maybe predicting a switch that would resist a fire type attack, but he ends up not switching, and I just get a clean KO. And that freeze. I get a freeze with Ice Beam, which was very unfortunate for my opponent. Not sure how much it would have mattered, because he could have gotten off a superpower onto Porygon, and he could have done a lot of damage, but I'm already ahead by 2 Pokemon. These are his last 2, and I still have 4, so I'm not sure it would have mattered by that much. So I'm gonna say it didn't matter that much, especially since Trick Room is up and I just outspeed. And I can KO the Tapu Bulu with another Ice Beam from Porygon. Mainly because of that special attack boost in the early part of the game. And I also knew it would 2-hit KO thanks to game 1. I also had a special attack boost then, so I already saw that it would be a 2-hit KO, so I wasn't really... I didn't feel as bad because of that freeze, let's just put it that way. So right now it's 4-1. He only has his Porygon left, so this game is pretty over. And it basically, I won the game due to me immediately destroying Tapu Lele and then setting up Trick Room and allowing my Marrl to just obliterate his team. So I bounced back from the first loss relatively well. I already I managed to identify the threat in that game, instead of the first game where I just left the Metagross to kill me because I thought it wasn't as scary, but it was. So right now I'm in my first round. I'm 1-1. I really want to win, you know, the first round, especially since I'm new, and my goal was basically to win some games and see how I would do, since it's my first time in VGC and all. So let's go to game 3. So in game 3 I switch up my lead. I bring the same 4 Pokemon, but I switch up my lead from Crocodile to Araquanid, because I kind of felt like he would bring something that would counter my Crocodile now. So I wanted to, you know, switch it up, bring Araquanid and surprise him. And he instead switched out the Bulu for Torkoal. So let's see how this goes. And we will enter the battle right about, you know, right about now, I'd say. No, now, here we go. So, as said, I lead with Porygon and Araquanid. If you have never tried Araquanid, please do. Water Bubble is such a strong ability. It doubles your attack on water moves. No, it just doubles the power of water moves. It's also whatever you use. But with this lead, I immediately catch out the Torkoal, because Araquanid kind of counters Torkoal. I resist fire due to Water Bubble. I have a really strong Water Stab to threaten it. And I actually pack a special move for the Torkoal. So the Torkoal protects, trying to scout, and the Porygon T-bolts my Araquanid. I have high special defense, but I still don't take that pretty well due to a special attack boost off download. But I set up Trick Room, so it's fine. Also, I saw on team preview, his team was quite slow, but under Trick Room I'm still slower, so I should outspeed. So I set up Trick Room, switch it to Marrl, who just doesn't care about Torkoal existing, and I actually pack White Guard on this Araquanid to block moves like the Eruption that he's using. And I also switched to Marrl to take this Thunderbolt with Lightning Rod, so Marrl just basically counters his 2 Pokemon that are on the field right now, since Torkoal has a Fire move and Porygon has T-Bolt and Ice Beam, most likely. So I just, well, and I say counters, but if you look at that Eruption damage, that's in the Sun, that's just way too strong. And due to the Sun Liquidation, it misses the 2-hit KO, which is sad. I'm not sure who I target here, but I feel like I should have targeted Torkoal with Marrl. I think I targeted Porygon because I wanted to see how much of Sun Boosted Flare Blitz would do, and it does 80% on like the tankiest Pokemon in the game right now, which is Porygon too. So here I White Guard again, but now he shows me the Super Tech Solar Beam, which is a very good choice if you're running Torkoal and you have slots left over, which is like usually your issue if you don't have move slots. So he kills my Araquanid, Porygon goes for Ice Beam, but Marowak lives because I'm a champ and I get the Bonemerang off on the Torkoal. So Trick Room is still up. I think one more turn. And I'm the slowest Pokemon on the field. And he sends in Lele. And I bring in Crocodile. So we already know that Crocodile is faster than Lele. So that means Lele outspeeds because it's Trick Room. So what I choose to do here is what I consider a good play. I don't know, that's my opinion of course. And I protect my Crocodile here because it's the last turn of Trick Room. So I protect, the Porygon does actually not target my Marowak, which was, I think it was a mistake, because now I can get a Sun Boosted Flare Blitz off on this Tapu Lele. And it doesn't take that quite well. In fact, it just one-hit KOs. I think Shadow Bone would have KO'd too, but I kind of wanted to kill Marowak to... No, actually you don't. I just wanted to do as much damage as possible. I wasn't sure if Shadow Bone would kill. So just went for the Flare Blitz, take him out. And right now it's 2-on-2. So it's my Porygon versus his Porygon and Metagross versus Crocodile. But we remember what my Crocodile has, right? So Metagross tries to go for the Bullet Punch to get damage off, but Psychic Terrain actually blocks it. And I remember him vividly facepalming at this moment as I get my Z move off. You know, I'm not gonna target the Porygon a second time. I'm gonna learn from my mistakes. Tectonic Range on the Metagross. And right now it's 2v1. So I kind of managed to eke out a win here. Managed to learn from the first game, learn from the second game, and consistently start to play better in these games. Which is what this tournament actually has done for me. So right now, Ice Beam does not one-hit KO Crocodile, so he has to choose between recovering or killing it, and if he recovers, I do enough damage to out damage that recovers. So that's not like worth it for him to do. So he ends up Ice Beaming the Crocodile, and I can just take out the Porygon here and take the win. So I end up winning my first VGC game in a Pokemon official VGC tournament, and I was happy with that since I've been practicing on Battle Spot, on Showdown with this team, trying out the team, and yeah, I was happy to win the game, and I was also happy that I made some mistakes that I actually noticed during the game. Since if you notice a mistake during your game and you manage to correct it and actually win the game because of that, that is one of the best displays of skill in my opinion. And I'm gonna cough real quick. Right. So yeah, I managed to notice the mistakes and immediately fix them. And I win my first ever round of VGC in a Pokemon VGC tournament. So that was my first game. I'm considering, well, I probably will upload all my 6 series that we did on that tournament. And whether or not I made top cut, I'll tell at the end, because I'm not gonna spoil that yet. So I want to thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you liked it, and if you want to see more, please do tell me in the comments. I would like to see feedback, since it's been a while since I've uploaded Pokemon content like this, where I've just talked for like 90 minutes straight. 19, not 90, that would be insanely long. So once again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode of me playing VGC. Later.